it is okay, this has been a wonderful set of entrepreneurs giving different perspectives, opportunities. Some are really high-end innovations, like what Dr. Harini talked about, and we also have here amongst people who have built such plants already, and they're scaling them up. So just to conclude, much of the earlier discussion before this panel that I was listening to, I heard the term ecosystem being used quite a lot, and I'm talking here about Sandeep as well, who spoke about Sandeep Patel, about that term. I think this is something we call in circular economy a approach which we say regional level approach to circular economy. And what is happening that because such a regional approach is missing at the moment, and I would say I see here Shilpi Kapoor attending, and that she was involved in making a state level action plan for Goa is one such example. We have looked at the state level. It is also Srinivas, I'm talking about Professor Chari, about the plastic waste management strategy in Telangana, which got again very recently published. So we got to elevate our project limited thinking to a regional level. And that's where the ecosystems become evident, and their role becomes very clear. That here is a case where we're not only talking about just how do you recycle the waste, which is not entirely circular economy canvas at all, but how do you weave in right from the product design, where you develop, for example, packaging with less plastic content. We heard Coca-Cola talking about the lightweight bottles as an illustration. So going all the way upstream in design thinking, then extending the life of the product as much as we can in terms of repairs and refurbishing, and then when you have the end of life, how do you figure out that you are giving a second life in a different form by devising new products? The entire process of that life cycle thinking will have to be then as a part of the regional infrastructure. I here mean not just the physical infrastructure, but the knowledge infrastructure as well, which is very important. And that networks get established across the sector. So when we say plastic, we can't just stop to plastic in a sense that what we normally talk, but the plastic, when you process, for example, electronic waste, is also to be looked at. So all the material flow analysis, which we need to put across a thematic of plastic, becomes very relevant, that we can actually then visualize the circular economy in regional scale. In fact, if by default circularity is to be looked at only on the regional scale, you can do it on a city level, you can do it on a state level. When you talk about circularity in a sector level, it has to be necessarily cross-sectoral, recognizing the spillovers of the materials from one sector to another. So I'm sure all of you are well aligned to what I'm just talking about, but keep this perspective in mind, especially when we are talking about entrepreneurship in circular economy. You just can't wear blinkers. You got to be looking around, and every businessman therefore comes up with a clever strategy that how do you survive in the competition, limited resources still, I would say, very important, and how do you keep your flag ahead by continual adaptation to innovations. I think that's the key. So Professor Malini, I'm going to stop at this point, thanking you first, Professor Chari, everybody from ASCI, and to the great four speakers we had today for sharing their experiences. Thank you, Malini.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a motivating, enlightening conversation, and for tying up everything that we have done since morning so beautifully. I think once again on your behalf, I'll appeal to all the cities which are attending how to develop an innovative mindset, how to keep an open mind and not have blinkers on, are some of my key takeaways from the last conversation from Dr. Mohan. Thank you, sir. And thank you to all the panelists.
Dr. Malini, I just like to thank Dr. Modar for summarizing so beautifully, and there is a very key message not only for innovators but for all of us who are on the fringes of ecosystem building. So I think there is a great message for all of us. One point I asked in the chat box, sir. Can you hear me, Dr. Malini?
Yeah.
I think I have a low bandwidth. So one point I asked in the chat box, what support do we need from cities to mature your ideas and scale up your ideas? So Mr. Godgill made a very, a simple ask. I think my network is weak. Are you able to hear me?
Sir, your network is fine, sir. Perfectly. You can hear me.
Okay, thank you. So he said, I need a space to set up the plant and allow me to charge a small tipping fee or a license to charge commercial generators. I think friends from cities, please understand that, this sort of request is so small. There are innovators who spoke about solving your problem, and all they're asking is a small concession for establishing the facility for your benefit, a small small fee which can be passed on to the polluters. So I think this is one very strong message that came out from this conversation, last conversation, and I am thankful to Dr. Modak and all the speakers for highlighting this point. I think there is a bigger message for cities in this conversation if you want to really solve this whole issue that we are discussing. Thank you very much, Dr. Mani, for this intervention.